Station, KL Central.
This is Malaysia. We are all kinds of people
who want to see all kinds of churches.
Planted for all kinds of people.
We have a vision
for Kuala Lumpur.
(157 train stations).
157 church plants.
157 church planters.
Prayer,
Training,
coaching,
fundraising,
discussion,
Connection.
This is our vision.
This is Gospel City Network.
Join the conversation. Joe.
All things will be set right in the kingdom of Christ. And how do we begin living that way now in this age as we look to our true identity in the age to come? Because we spend so much time working, understanding how to make gospel connections from our day-to-day work is an incredible opportunity for evangelism, for advancing the kingdom of Christ through our lives, of course, in the marketplace.
God has called us and designed us to work. Our faith is not separate from our work, it's actually integrated into our work.
All of us are doing some sort of work, cultivating the resources around us. Faith and work is just a part of life, and the more that we understand what faith and work looks like and how to integrate those two things, then the more aligned we can be, the better integrity we can have as individuals, and the more meaningful our lives can be.
Our work is an integral part of God's plan of redemption. Faith cannot be disconnected with what we do the most through the productive years of our life. Christ is working in us through our work. Christ is also working through us in our work and our careers. And that is where we can be agents of God's renewal in the world. That's where we can partner with how Christ is renewing this world.
If you're going to be pastoring people who work, then you need to understand that work is really a big part of people's lives. And then how do you speak into people's work lives with the gospel?
Work is where we spend the majority of our time. Understanding how our faith should be fully integrated into our work life is super important so that we can thrive and live in the fullness and wholeness that God has designed for us to experience.
Work is God's idea. Work is not a result of the fall.
Humanity is the only creation that God has given a very specific task of work. Our work becomes worship. Every square inch of this world belongs to God. And why don't we go and redeem every square inch to praise God?
We run a business together, and one thing that really hit me is that God owns this company. So how do we live our lives? How do we run the business, treating it as God's company, not our own?
I think I mainly learned how work in general can be viewed through the Bible overview. It's a very beautiful pattern. It's a very helpful pattern. It's also something that can be very applicable, so it's definitely helpful.
Yeah, so my name is David, pastor in CDPC. I've learned a lot, especially applying a gospel framework to workplace ministry, understanding the effects of the fall and our role in renewal. Hope to be able to help many working adults in my church from this conference.
What was enlightening is to know that God
created work for us. And God actually worked, and He showed us how to work.
I'd like to say a big thanks to Gospel City Network for organizing this work matters. I think one of the biggest takeaway from this is I've got to learn how to implement God's work more in terms of my work and the people that I deal with in my daily lives. And also in today's world, there's lots of challenge, there are lots of things that we don't tend to follow God's work, but this Work Matters conference has actually opened up my eyes and to follow God's path more. Thanks.
One thing I've learned from the conference is that I think people make decisions at work or about work based on their deep sense of finding their identity and worth, and there is a deep sense of fear of losing that sense of worth. But we are very grateful for the hope that we have in Jesus, in redemption, in His renewal and restoration eventually. And I take great comfort in that as a working young adult.
My biggest takeaway, or I would say reminder from this conference, is really that there's no need to separate the secular and the sacred. They are closely intertwined, and God is working within us, among us, even in our workplace. And I'm thankful that there's a God that cares about the work that we do, that even has designed us to do great work to glorify Him. So very glad to be here, and you guys should be here the next round.
Every believer here would understand that they are an ambassador. They scatter throughout this city for Christ, for His sake, and for His glory.
And that churches would be started and disciples would be made and the light of the gospel would spread all over this area.
We ask that they would be salt and light in the communities that they're working in.
Strengthen their faith. I pray that you help them to see where you are already at work before them, within them, and around them.
We commit everyone that goes to work and runs the race every morning, that we would go with a sense of purpose, that we would work from our rest, but at the same time bringing the good news of the gospel into our workplaces.
Bring your gospel to every square inch of this city and country and redeem this place, Lord, for you.